It is Mia Mance, owner of Mia Talks Media and Marketing. I am so excited for this fantastic show and these fantastic creative women who are going to talk about shopping all things local, not just in holiday season, but just how critical it is to our local economy and tons of ways for you to get involved, shop, and to get inspired with their phenomenal work. We would not be here afternoon without phenomenal sponsors like the David Pence Allstate Insurance Team, of course, voted best of the Coastal Empire. We've been talking about insurance checkups. So if you've purchased a new property, a new car, if someone's aged out of a certain age area and you're just ready to do an insurance checkup, check out the Allstate Insurance Team of David, Tammy, and reach out to them at 917. And if you're feeling in the kitchen or a lot burnt out in the kitchen and you're like, I'd rather have someone deliver my food to me, there is Fresh Off the Dock Seafood of Hilton Head. They also deliver to the Savannah metro area. You can pre-order with them. They do deliveries every Friday and Saturday, and then a live seafood Sunday on Hilton Head Island every single Sunday. You can pre-order at 843-304-2055, everything from shrimp, crabs, you name it. It's all completely fresh, made with love. And you can check them out again, 843-304-2055 or Fresh Off the Dock, all things social media. They're also hiring. So if you are looking for a job, a second job, and you have experience when it comes to the kitchen or in team management or leadership, definitely reach out to them at 843-304-2055. So we are here today to talk about local makers. There are tons of local markets all across our area. I encourage you, and we'll get into some of those this afternoon, but the more that you can keep those dollars local, the more it stretches to more people in our community. Without further ado, I have the founder of Low Country Made and also the founder of the Bluffton Night Markets and Holiday Markets, the one and only Katie Silva. Hey, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then I have the light up your home, light up your life with her amazing scent, the one and only founder of Elon Wick Candle Company, Alondia Harden. Hey, Alondia!
Hey, Mia. Thanks for having me. Hey, Katie.
Hey.
Absolutely. So, ladies, you're known for being powerhouse of creativity. Let's each start with your individual businesses before we get into the bigger picture of some of the places and the reach of what you do in this area. Can you start with me, Katie, about your base of Low Country Made and what you do and what people can experience with your company, please?
Certainly. So I wouldn't call myself a maker necessarily. I'm more of a creative problem solver, and I guess a maker in a way is an entrepreneur, but I get to represent people who have true talent. And Low Country Made it's a collective of local artisans growing their brands in the Low Country. So my focus is on providing them with just consistent creative marketing opportunities, and those have just kind of evolved over the course of the COVID year as we've dealt with mask restrictions, people shopping mainly from home, how to draw people out. So so Low Country Made, we do pop-up markets. We have the reoccurring Bluffton Artisan Market that was hosted at Southern Barrel all year. And then we also do pop-ups at different businesses that just want to get involved. So, and then lately we've just opened up a shop so we can consistently display the artisans that I represent at the shop. So just constantly looking for ways to collaborate with local businesses to get these makers in front of more people and to provide them with more opportunity.
And you do have market this weekend that people can shop. You want to tell everybody about that, please?
Certainly. So it's at Lot 9 Brewing. So it tends to work out best when our pop-ups are at a restaurant or a brewery or distillery. It just makes for a fun environment. So Lot 9 reached out that they want to host a pop-up. So we're doing that there this Saturday from 12 to 5. And we have 15 local makers. They'll be in the parking lot. We'll have some people inside, just 2 vendors inside. So you can kind of stream in and out. And Low Country Lobster will be the food truck there. So great time to do some holiday shopping and stocking stuffers.
Excellent. Thank you. We've got LB. She's chiming in. Of course, the Black Artist Series Market, that's going down this weekend as well. So make sure you guys are a part of that. That's this Saturday as well. Elandia, I'm going to turn it over to you because when we think of candles, and I've been a ground zero supporter, right? Your baby has allowed to tell people, well, you can tell people some new places that you've gotten to share your amazing products. So go ahead and let's talk about the history of Elon Witt Candle Company, please.
So Elon Candle Company started in 2015, 5 years ago. And at the time I was working in the medical field. I worked in orthopedics at one of like the largest like practices in the city. And I just wanted to like do something different. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something outside. So, you know, eventually I started making candles. I've done the Black Heritage Festival, I think once or twice. I think twice. I've done a few other cool events this year. I did the Southern Women's Show when it was at the Trade Center. And I've been very fortunate to make, you know, custom candles for celebrities, athletes, authors, Oscar award-winning directors, just really, really cool people that we all love. But, you know, primarily being local, being an e-commerce website, but also doing local markets has always been my favorite thing. Mia, that's how we met, right? Like 4 years ago, I was selling candles, and yeah, you were literally a ground zero day one supporter. And so, yeah, that's basically what I do. I show up to people's markets, I sell my things, and I go home.
So weren't we Beyonce flavor that I had to buy that I'm not even sure. Pound cake, was it pound cake that you had out at the time?
Yeah, it was lemon pound cake. Lemon pound cake.
I feel like it was. Yes. Going like Beyonce needs to have your candles. And I was your candles smell fantastic, and literally they're made out of like soy and lots of healthy and good ingredients, and that really matters, especially in terms of what you put in your home. But you have all types of different things to clear your sinuses, make it smell like the ocean. So I have ladies here because I just want to talk about the realities of what it's like to be really basing your entire world on the support of other people. Yes, we do have these extensive umbrellas where we can connect and market ourselves to other people. But what does it mean on a foundation level right now for everyone that's tuning in to get behind our local artists and creatives and designers and makers in our area, please?
Katie, you want to go first?
I'm trying to think which part to answer. Yeah, I guess basing everything off of collaboration is how I started Low Country Made. But I think with the year we've had, we're all kind of leaning on each other a little more. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, that's what Low Country Made is all about anyway. Just looking for opportunities in each other and building each other up, you know, kind of getting that success as a group. That doesn't answer a whole lot.
I think for me
it does. And if you can, if you don't mind, hold on, Elandia, for 2 seconds, because I want to ask. No, you're fine. Katie, can you share the story of how being the leader of these collaborative events really helped to establish more of what you do? Do you want to tell that backstory a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. So my background is in marketing, and then when COVID happened and we were all, you know, forced to go home for a while, my marketing job just, you know, my hours were extremely reduced, and I had this time and I had this experience, and with marketing, all the clients I wanted to represent couldn't afford our agency. So I was like, how can I help these people I really want to help, that have these great ideas that that I feel like would be just easy to market because their talent and their ideas just really speak through, and so does their product. And so Low Country Made was something I've been thinking about for like a year, and COVID just presented the opportunity. So my whole goal was the success of the makers that I represent. So I started with that website to just start collecting these makers, so that if you're local or a local business that that wants to just, typically you typically find these brands at markets, and with markets being closed, it was harder to do. So I just started by collecting them and figuring out ways to provide them with consistent and affordable marketing opportunities. And that's how the markets came about too. But yeah, with the mission being the success of my makers, I was hoping, Low Country Made's success would follow if I was carrying that out for them. So I'm constantly looking for opportunities for them. And I think every success I've had with Low Country Made was because of some sort of collaboration with a local business. So I'm very happy about that.
And we talked about the Juice Hive. We talked about this off the air, that because of your support so much of other local people, that the Juice Hive then opened up their space to make a space for your business.
Yeah. So Leslie Rowland owns the Juice Hive, and she has two spaces, the Juice Hive, and then the address next door that's connected, that had been for people sitting indoors, and nobody was, truly sitting indoors too long to eat anymore with COVID. So she had this space, and she reached out to support, fellow businesswomen and like fellow scene. So yeah, she reached out a month and a half ago, and we got the store started. Like, I didn't think I'd be a shop owner this year, especially. So I've had to learn a lot of things.
And now you are. You're a shop owner. Exactly. Toot that horn, which is why, Elon, thank you for being patient for me to make her toot her own horn to get the story out there that she is a shop owner in addition to a leader of markets together. Because, Elandia, this is your point to take it away, where you had to really have a lot of faith in product. I want you to talk about the faith walk and then the collaboration walk as well, and building your brand, please.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the faith walk, right? The faith walk is walk. The faith walk is literally trusting what has been given to you to carry you through and to carry you to the next level. I never thought that a candle would do that, but hey, we're here now. Last year in August, I was let go from my job that I was on for 3 weeks. It was a job, lost my job, and I was just floored. And I gave myself maybe like 5 to 10 minutes to cry, and then I was like, all right, well, it's not like I don't have anything on the background. I have these candles. I'm just gonna kick my heels in the dirt, and I'm just gonna make this work, right? So I did. Somehow I survived the last quarter of last year. And then 2020 came, and it seemed a little bit better. I was used to it. I was doing fine. I wasn't drowning, in any failure. I was floating pretty well. And then when the pandemic hit, we're all afraid. We were all afraid. We didn't know what was going to happen to our businesses, whether it be e-commerce or afraid. And so for me, I was like, all right, well, if people are going to be they're going to have candles. Like, we can only hope they're going to order from me and not, big box stores that we won't name. People did order, and I wasn't prepared for it, but I knew that I had prayed for it at some point. Like, this is the stuff that I prayed about in 2018. This is the stuff I prayed about the day I got fired in 2019. This is the stuff I prayed about the day I got fired. So for me, like, my faith walk has, and then collaborating with a friend of mine, her name's Sanquanta Cox Smith. She owns Coins and Connections. We collaborated with the Protect Black Men and Women collection, and we started the women portion in 2019 for Women's History Month, and then we added the men this year for Black History Month. That collaboration alone carried us through this pandemic with the social injustice that happened during the summer. And then also having brand partners outside of the city. I'm a brand partner with Bold Exchange, which is like an online marketplace for Black-owned businesses. That those two collaborations have carried me. Being in shops locally has done well, but those two collaborations with Bold Exchange and Coins and Connections, they really took the candles to another level for me. And I'm very grateful for those collaborations for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the understanding your values, because Katie, you've talked about collaboration and understanding that with your marketing background and wanting other people's success. Alandi, understanding that you had to continue to push for your dreams no matter what the circumstances look like, but also knowing when something spoke to your core values. How do you ladies, because you are constantly with other businesses and other opportunities, I'm sure all the time, how do you determine what you say yes and what you say no to?
It's a really good question, because I say yes to everything. And I've learned throughout the year, because just like looking at my inbox, it's just so full and I can't say yes to everything. That if I want to do something well, that there are things I have to say no to. I can't tell you what those things are because I still try to say yes to everything, but to maintain the, quality and to make sure everyone's getting all of my attention and, that every event has all the marketing that it needs. Yeah, you just got to figure out what to say no to. And I don't know how to tell you other than I try to space things out.
I think like stuff is good. For me, this year made, I think, everyone figure out what their values were, right? And for me, I knew that because my business was growing and because I have a toddler and a business to juggle, I can only do but so much and respect the boundaries that I place for myself. Meaning, if it is not beneficial or if it takes away from my son, I'm not doing it. If it is not beneficial for my brand and if it is performative, I'm not doing it. I've seen a lot of performative things. I have several emails where people offered, free services to me. And while I'm grateful for them, I understand that, any other day that could have been offered, it shouldn't take murders and protests and all that stuff for people to look inward and offer. But and I just had to say no. And even now that it's and everyone wants to get holiday candles, I can't do it. I don't want to stretch myself too thin because I have so much going on all within the business that I have to say no. And I have to say, I won't restock on this until this date. And I jump and overpower and overwhelm myself this year because, again, I have a son. I have to preserve my energy for him because if mama's not good, the business is good. So respect the business is good. So important.
So I feel like part of the power of this conversation is you are women with a lot going on, with families and responsibilities that are not just running the day-to-day operations of what you do. But before I hop into that part of how you stay balanced and how that inspires what you do and motivates you, I am sure that there are local makers with local businesses who are watching, who are often tempted to undercut their prices or undervalue themselves because they might not feel like the market's catching up with the compensation or the cost of what an artist, what a candle creator, of what a jewelry designer, of what a fashion designer is putting out. What can you say to these local makers who are going, I'm just trying to make it with my, and I feel like people might want a lot for free, but they're not willing to pay me my full cost. Can we talk about that, ladies, please?
Yeah. So no, go ahead. You go first.
I think that, and it took me a while to do this. I discounted my products for a few years. I wasn't pricing them at the right price because of the same thing. I didn't want people to, say no. I wanted them to make sure that, they would actually buy the product so they can sell it to people and all that stuff. However, I was not paying myself, and it was barely covering the cost of supplies. It was barely covering my bills. And for someone like me who does this full time, that can't cut it. So I have to raise the price, because when the supplies, the prices are increasing for those, and bills aren't stopping. My kid is not done growing. So it has to be something that works. And the price that I have right now is competitive, so it's not a luxury, not gonna break anyone's pockets, but at the same time it will help me carve out who I need to be connected with. And like Courtney said, yeah, intentional moves, definitely. So that's be intentional about your pricing, because you know what you have going on behind the scenes. And there is always going to be someone that's going to pay that price.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not a price that you just
like you said, shout out to Courtney.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Katie. No, check out all of the Buy Local members, their website, the directory of all the ways you can buy local with Buy Local, or become a member as well. Just did their great Christmas party last night, benefiting 2 local charities, at Ghost Coast, obviously local business, and benefiting Ronald McDonald House and Gilliard and Company. So again, Buy Local, they have a huge directory. You can see all the ways to shop their members. Katie, I apologize, continues in talking about making sure when it comes to your value that you're receiving for what you're doing.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's important for makers to know it's not just a number that you pull out of the air. It's something that you've built into, and that if you're thinking about lowering the cost just because you want people to say yes, just stop. It will come. Different opportunities will show up, and you need to focus your mental energy on something else, on finding ways to find those collaborations that carry you through, or different marketing tactics. It's just put that energy elsewhere, because I feel like there's usually always an answer to a problem. You just have to get sort of creative with it, and it'll present itself. So,
can you talk for a second, Katie, about seeing the traffic at your night markets and holiday markets and different markets, and seeing what that does for the self-esteem of the business owners, to see that people are getting out there and supporting them?
Yeah, certainly. Like every market, we had more people show up. I think that was as people felt more comfortable that everyone was adhering to the mask rule, and as we all got more comfortable in that. But yeah, you can't help but take it personally if people aren't buying your stuff, and I could see that affect some people. But ultimately, it's all the makers have this positive energy, and people want to engage with them and purchase from them. So yeah, it helped everyone's self-esteem and their business to see the crowds come in and the community support them like that.
And Alondia, you've been a part of so many local markets, you name it, and makers, markets all up and down the area. What people from all over post-selling behind each one of these businesses?
Can you ask your question? It sounded like it was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. You've been a part of a lot of local markets, melanin makers, you name it, a long list of local markets. What is it like to see people rallying behind your product, and also all of the other business owners at these market opportunities?
I feel like it's just like one big family function. Like, people are intentional about shopping local. They understand that money is not going to this big corporation. They understand where that is going to and who that's helping. And I mean, you get to actually meet the maker, right? You get to form that person-to-person, face-to-face connection. You get to put a face to a name. I know the last market that I did, I think, was a Southern show, and then before that was either the night market or the melanin makers mart. I can't remember, one of those two. But it was really cool to people, people would say, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." And I'm like, "You do? It's nice to meet you." Like, that's always my favorite part. Because I'm like, thank you for following me while I'm trying to figure this out, because most of the time I'm just winging it. So thanks for supporting, and I hope everyone enjoys the product. I like the fact that I get to kind of walk people through their purchase, because it reminds me of like my days in retail where I would work people through like buying a perfume or so that's my favorite part. I really miss it. I need people to asking for Rona to move on, because I'm ready to get back to the market space.
Absolutely. So on, ladies, the e-commerce landscape, for anyone that's watching that is a creative, a business owner, and they want to be like you and grow their impact of what they're able to get done on a local level, grow their impact of who they're reaching with their work. Let's just talk about e-commerce. I mean, do you see that you're generating more leads, like you were saying, Alondia, on Instagram, where you've got followers that are now super connected to you, they're super connected to the movements, they're super connected to social justice. So within that, it's like, boom, here's a DM, I want to order. Or is it, Katie, I'm seeing the marketing that you're doing for the markets, and that's creating more orders for the companies that Low Country Made represents? Can we talk about the digital aspects, please?
Yeah, certainly. So Low Country Made doesn't have an online shop right now. Hopefully it's in the works, but it is so important. And that was one of the problems I wanted to help address, the makers who haven't invested in that e-commerce yet. So that's what I was hoping the markets would help solve too. But yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought here. But yeah, that's why I pushed the markets like I did, to help those people without websites, especially too. But I think Instagram is my biggest driver for marketing and for sharing the message of all my makers.
Oh, it's my turn.
I guess.
It's like an awkward sound.
I'm done.
So I think yeah, like Katie said, Instagram really is a thing, because you can, well, even with Facebook, I guess, because Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah, just connect it.
This like your products, and you can sell them on both of those outlets on top of your website. So that's always good. Even though I still get local people, they'll inbox me on Instagram and say, "Hey, your website sold out," and I'm like, "Yeah, your website sold out. Go here, and get the candles." Even though it shows like that it's still on my guide or catalog or whatever on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm completely sold out on my website. You guys can still go here. But that's a cool thing about e-commerce. Everything's connected. You can see everything. And I really hope that for the people that did markets that didn't get a website, I really hope that they made the quick shift at the beginning of the pandemic, because people are home. Like, people are still home and they're still buying and they're still looking for things. I'm pretty sure Etsy is like going through the roof with handmade products. I'm on Shopify, but I know Etsy is having like the best time of their lives with this pandemic, because everybody's just home trying to find something to do and something to purchase. And it's the best time of the year to do it.
So y'all just gave so many tips in how your leads are driven. Instagram, Etsy, Shopify, sure that you're using these social platforms. I have these conversations all the time where social is such a great way to tell your story at all times, right? A quick story, you name it, if you're doing a pop-up event or anything like that, making sure you're maximizing those channels. But also, like you were saying, Alondia too, just having a base where people can access you. Like, as you heard Katie saying, making sure that there's some type of landing to connect people to you, correct?
Absolutely.
And I know, Katie, you mentioned earlier, you're like, for some people, it's like they don't have the money to do all the marketing. What are a few things that, people who are watching this afternoon can, as soon as this talk is over, that they can do just to boost their local conversation about what they're doing, their local business?
Well, I think just start with your collaborations like we keep talking about, for sure. Just getting on other people's feed and getting, tapping into their audience is going to help you immensely. And partnering with charities, especially this time of the year, it's a really nice thing to do, and it does help your brand, and it helps awareness as well. So partnering with charities, collaborations, yeah. And then something I just feel like is just a huge asset for makers is wholesaling. So focus on what you need to do to get your line sheet ready, figure out what your pricing is, and I think you'll find that you're kept very busy, and all of a sudden you're on several people's, e-commerce sites selling your goods. So,
holy buckets! You just dropped a holy grail. Blondie is nodding. She's like, "Yep, wholesale, wholesale." Yep. Write that down. Figure out how to get wholesale. Like, if that's a 2021 goal, y'all, that is a whole jewel. There's like agreed popping up in the comments. Make your product accessible. That's huge. Because I wish you to hop in that in addition to your tips and advice on how wholesale is a game changer for you.
So wholesale is really cool. Obviously, times like this where my website is completely sold out, locals can go to like 787 by Chezzy Toes, Ordinary Magic Shop, Stump. They can go to The Edition. They can go to those 4 places locally and get my product, even though I don't have any to give out on hand because they're already paid for it, right? And so with that being a game changer, just so people can get their stuff and they're not angry at me for not having enough during the holiday season, like that's really good. Year round, just building those brand relationships and building cool relationships, and you just never know who's in these stores buying your products too. There was one day where someone told me that someone who was on, I don't know if he was on like HGTV but like, I don't even want to drop his name because I'm big on like, privacy or whatever, but I lost my cool because I was just like, he was in Savannah and he bought my candle, but that's what that's what happened. And it's cool. It's cool. If there's I wish that more people were open to hosting other handmade products. There are phenomenal makers in this city. Phenomenal. And I understand that people want to have a certain aesthetic for their stores, but just have like a cool section where you have like things that don't necessarily match your store brand, because that's more traffic, and you can't assume that the people that the odd, quote unquote, odd thing can't afford what you already sell in your store. I'm off the box now.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly why we're doing this show, because we recognize that, you ladies are local business owners and you're living this and you're supporting your families through the work that you do. And so I need you to both take a moment to make it very clear when you're feeding your son or you're having a moment with your family and husband, how critical these dollars are to support families in our community. Can y'all talk about that each from a personal perspective for a second?
Yeah. Alandia, you go first. Please.
I was telling myself, don't cry when you talk now.
I know. It's like,
so
you can cry out. This is healing too. Go ahead and cry.
So for me, like everyone knows, my son is all on my Instagram, Facebook. Like, no, I work for him. Okay, he's the boss. First of all,
he is your boss.
Okay, He is boss. I work at 5 in the morning. I'm like, why? But he's the boss, and getting fired over the phone in August of last year while holding my son was like the most awkward thing I've ever experienced in life. I've never been fired. And I was like, what? So, just really taking it in that like I have to make it clear. At some point I have to open up and be transparent to my customers so they can understand that like I'm not just doing this just to do it. I'm doing this so I can survive. And so I started kind of like sending like emails, like, just kind of walking my customers through my feeling, like, just trying to get out of, I was never like clinically diagnosed, but I recognized that it was postpartum depression. Just trying to learn how to balance motherhood, a big new mom, a first time mom, and being, like just life. I'd never told anyone that, I got fired. Well, like my close family and friends, but like my customers didn't know until August of this year when I dropped a blog on my website. And so showing up and being really transparent during the summertime when things were crazy, and thinking like thank you guys for selling me out. You guys got me out of credit card debt. You guys helped me pay down my credit card. I'm not fully done with student loans, but I paid them down pretty much, pretty well. And just helping me become a better person, helping me like learn how to do my due diligence when it comes to customer service, shipping, how to deal with the post office when they start losing people's packages and not up to scale, all this stuff during the pandemic. Thank you guys for teaching or giving me grace and teaching me how to show more grace when you're ordering and when you're looking at my profile. So it was like it's just a circle. It's like a full circle moment for me when I have customers, because I get it. I buy from small businesses all the time, and I'm never going to send an email and ask where my product is, because I get it. People have lives. Just as long as I get it, I'm cool. But make sure, like, when people are helping me, they're helping me feed my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, here goes the tears. They're helping me take care of my son. So thank y'all for making me cry. But that's it before I start.
Nolan is my boyfriend. I was going to say Nolan's my boyfriend. I was hoping he'd make a camera debut this afternoon. But he is just the best. And Katie, you have a whole Brady Bunch going on over there on the South Carolina side, girlfriend. So let's talk about how this fuels the Silva Bunch, girlfriend. Let's talk about that.
Oh God. So I have 3 kids, and I'm pregnant with number 4.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. My whole goal was to be able to create something that I can manage from home. I have this entrepreneurial spirit, and I think that's a good thing. And I think it's good for your kids to see you working and being responsible and managing things outside of the everyday, which with them. And I wanted it to be a blessing for my family. I didn't want it to be a burden. So for just to, get real, my prayers like leading up to it and during it is, if this is not beneficial for my family, then I don't want to do it. So, and that's too why my whole business plan is building other people up and relying on my success by helping them be successful. So I want to lead locals, and because my audience for Low Country Made is largely locals, to these local makers who are grinding for their families, who are doing, but in another sense too, they have this skill, and this is what they want to be doing, and it's just really cool to be able to support those local makers and just tell their story and get their story out there. But yeah, ultimately, I was just creating a business that I could manage from home. I had the hardest time like keeping a consistent job while having babies. So marketing was worked out well because I could do that from home. But even that, I got furloughed, and so I was like, I need to manage my own schedule and be the master of my own fate. And so the pandemic was awful, but it provided me this opportunity to invest in myself, and by investing in other people. So yeah, that's why I do it. I do it for the family, of course, but the juggle is
So
real.
then two easy questions, and then we're going to talk about all the ways that people can get out and shop that you get behind, that you love, like markets that you love, that you products and things. We just want to try to mention as many as we can before we sign off here. First tough question for each of you. What was your biggest lesson of T20?
Listen to my body.
Right before you pass out.
Body. Y'all, this is my workspace. I'm on a table, and with an 8.5 foot table, and that's what I use to do what I do, right? Standing up and making those. While I love it, but I remember when I was pregnant 2 years ago, I was pouring candles up until a week before I had my son. I remember maybe 2 weeks after I had him, getting up and making candles, not listening to my body, but forcing myself to go through these things. I was in a car accident a month and a half ago, and I'm still trying to make candles because people were still ordering, but my body was saying no. Last Thursday, I stayed up until 5 o'clock on Friday morning. Went up at 7 and just did everything all over again. And I think Saturday, for the first time in maybe months, I was in bed before 10:30. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm listening, body. You're not as young as you used to be. Your joints are not the same. So listening to my body is the most important, because if my body's not right, I can't do anything else. I need my body.
I
Katie?
think the most important thing I learned this year, especially since I launched Low Country Made this year, was to just do it. I have all these ideas in my head, and I was like, oh, people aren't going to like them. I was holding myself back. And then I think it was turning 30. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put these ideas out there and see what happens. So I did, and people responded, and they liked them, and it just kind of snowballed and became what it is right now. So I just, believing in your ideas. It sounds kind of cliche, but it's also that the grit to make it happen. So you have these ideas, and are you going to follow through on it? It's more than just putting it out there. It is a few late nights, and it's putting yourself out there, and that's scary, but it was rewarding this year.
And we're here because we decided to just do it. All three of us are here because we just decided to trust our.
And Jesus and just doing it. Absolutely. I hit the nuggets of what y'all just said. Shout out to entrepreneur Mona Lancaster Epps. Mona has her own spa. She's also a woman that's out there making it happen. Ladies are loving Just Do It as well. Elby was like, yes, to Just Do It. I feel like Elby just does it. She's like, yes. She's like you, Katie. She's like, can I do it? Yes. But let me hit on, you said so much, and I need to honor, you're both 30 and under. Oh gosh, if I had known anything that Shawn knew at 30. The courage and the bravery that you both possess in every aspect of your life is exactly why I wanted to have space with both of you, because seeing your work, just seeing it and seeing the heart, and not even long-term financial payoff going to be, because like I said, you both entered at different spaces, but then the commitment, there's something to be said about feeling the thing, thinking the thing, doing the thing once or twice, but then the commitment to stay at it, whether there's 100 people or you have, 5 orders or you have 500 orders. It is absolutely inspiring. And I want to go into the kind of dark side of this for a second. What's the scary moment for you in your journey? Because you've talked about a lot. You've been laid off, let go, hours cut, furloughed, trying to balance, wanting to make sure that your family priority. What was one of the single most scary moments that you kept pushing through, please?
I guess it was just waiting to pay yourself. I just kept investing back into the company, and I wanted these markets to be a success. So I just put everything back into it because I had 40 vendors that I needed them to have a record day every single time. So yeah, I guess the scariest moment was determining your time and that your family needs it. And so you just have to figure that out. And I'm still learning that. And there's still there's still ups and downs with that, especially opening up a retail shop and launching that. But for me, that's an ongoing struggle of what that looks like.
I agree. That's the same for me. Because you want your dream to work. And so you don't think about compensating yourself, because like our success is enough. Like when we actually accomplish our goals, in my mind, I'm like, that's cool, that's enough. But I still need to put this money over here. So it's just, learning to pace myself at the same time. But I think also my darkest moment was I think at the time, like after I had my son, up until maybe September of last year, like just that whole like new mom, newborn, balancing, trying to go back to work and, kind of like going, head to head with postpartum depression, like just trying to balance all of that and being like a solo parent during that time. It was hard. And so I just wasn't feeling like even making a single candle, like I just wasn't there. But I pushed myself and I ended up, and it was just like a revival. Just being there for like a day, just woke and went head first, and I haven't stopped. But I think that was like the darkest moment, trying to figure it out as a new mom. Because there aren't a lot of people like that make candles that I can lean on and ask questions like locally. I have, other fellow candle bays all over the country that I can talk to, but it was really hard not having somebody to ask like, hey, how did you do it? Like there's no one I can sit down and have coffee with to figure this out or to help me with it. So trying to figure it out by myself while juggling 50 other things in my life, that was the darkest time.
And just to piggyback off that, like, wow, not so much for like the darkest time, but for managing the darkest time was all the people that I was able to rely on for advice and mentorship and help. So there was all these vendors that I hadn't known before, and they're all business owners and they've all been hustling and doing it. And I found I had just like 5 close mentors all of a sudden, and that just to rely on their expertise. So it was just a very liberating thing to know that I can text someone and be like, does this sound right for MSRP? Or what does this contract look like usually? Because figuring contracts out was a big deal too, knowing that you're all covered. So just relying on those people, your network, for that advice.
Yeah, having a tribe is so important.
This is so good. Go ahead, Alandi. What did you say? I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Yeah, having like a tribe, having like your village is so important. Like just so important, because sometimes we get in our own head and we're trying to do everything by ourselves because like we're the face of our brands. But having a village, having a support system definitely helps.
Okay, this leads me to one more question to talk about all things market. Shout out to Christina. She is a real estate agent, another businesswoman making it happen. Check her out online, Christina Marie Dozier. Alondia, you said being the face of your brands. Oh, we all sit in that same seat. Yay! How do you trust people to help run that brand? Who are you? Who is of your brand? Let's answer that question for local makers, creators, business owners who are like, I'm the face and I wear 10,000 hats. How do you trust people to get them on the team so they can carry the torch for y'all, please?
I don't know. But I'm like in the process of getting to that point. I recently, like, I even hired, I started delegating. I've been told to do that so many times. I'm like, no, like, I'm cool. Like, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me save my money. I got this. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I don't have it. Let me just find somebody. So like, I hired Autumn Kula, who's an amazing photographer. She did my product photography, and I literally felt like an entire weight was off my shoulder. I hired like a consultant for next year. So like, just for brand clarity, so I can like continue to kick butt next year. But bringing someone in to make candles, I'm still working on that. Okay, y'all pray for me. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I do want to want to do that, but I'm just not there yet in my faith walk. I'm not there.
We're gonna pray about it and we're gonna ask to Jesus for it. Katie, because think about this, soon enough, right? You're gonna have to go and have that beautiful fourth baby. Who are you talking to, or how are you figuring out who's going to carry on Low Country while you need to go and have baby number 4?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about it, and just when you think about the long term of your business plan, your 5-year plan, if you're to scale your business, you have to have a team and you have to have people you rely on. So the most important thing I did was, before I even paid myself, which may not be the best thing, but I hired a marketing agency to get that publicity, to carry me through that way. And she also does all my website. So that was the best. She's the most valuable member of my team, probably, because she carries this thing that takes me so long to do. Websites are not my forte, and she can just take that off my plate. And I just know I need to send her an email or a text and be like, hey, can you update this person's profile, or update the this or that. And she's amazing, and constantly talking with local media to try to get the markets out there. And I think she's truly the reason the markets were so successful. But then also, I have 3 employees at the shop now, and they're just amazing. And my good dear friend, who's one of my employees, found them for me. They're all parents at the same school, and they take turns picking each other's kids up, and they're just phenomenal. So it's just so nice that during the week I don't have to worry about the shop. I just text them. I'm like, how's it going? Where are we at? And I know that they're taking care of it, and then I deal with it on Saturdays. So, and I try not to be the face of my brand. I try to push everybody else to be my face, all the makers I represent. But it's, that is why I have anxiety, because I'm trying to please so many people and carry this brand. But it is important in order to scale, and for your own mental sanity, to find people you can trust. At least find things. I think the most important thing probably is to find things that you're not good at, and then to delegate that part, because you're not doing that well anyway. So it's like, find somebody who can, and you'll be so relieved.
Right, because you're gonna make that money back anyway. So go ahead and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just it's your time's more valuable elsewhere.
Yeah, no doubt.
Gosh, this is so good. You can see Mona's comments there. So important that people that you trust your brand with understand your vision, that bold, and to be a part of your team. I think that's, you've heard Katie and Alondia talk about it. Being able to have people who see your success as a big win is a win for everybody on the team. Katie, you work with Heather Bragg, am I right, over at Bragg Media?
Yes, yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah, that's how we got connected. I love Heather. Like you said, collaboration, media and marketing people that work together to make sure that we're reaching as many people with people's stories. Again, it's just like you said, all of us working together, and then making sure that we're putting our economic investments behind people. I have some of the best ever, because it's talking about growth and different ideas and, you know, like ways to support or ways to grow. And it's just, you know, watching you really, you know, just keep taking it and setting a standard to a whole different level. It's phenomenal to watch your success. So here's the deal. We want people to shop local. So can you please reiterate the markets that you have upcoming? Alondia, please tell people how to shop with you. Katie, tell all the touch points you have for people to connect with you. But also, because there are so many local, you know, we had Elby on earlier with the Black Artist Series that's going down weekend in Savannah. Just let's try to, you know, roll call all of the market, you know, are on the top of your head if possible, that people can shop in our area across coastal Georgia and the Low Country. Who wants to go first?
So this Saturday, we have Lot 9 Brewing in Bluffton. I think Ladies Island Marina in Beaufort is doing one this Saturday too. Bluffton Aesthetics is doing one tomorrow night. That's also in Bluffton. Landia, do you have any in Savannah that you can think of?
No, not any markets. I can't think of any markets.
Okay. I know Bluffton has just a slew of them. There's one at Joe's Ice Cream, but anyway, just if you're on Facebook, you'll find them in the event section. But the Low Country Made shop is going to have a holiday open house next week, Wednesday from 5 to 7. So Whip Savannah will be there. She's a she does the coolest jewelry, and she does Apple Watch bands, which I'm pretty excited about. Cool. She takes like old vintage Louis Vuitton and cuts it up and makes cool stuff out of it. And anyway, so she'll be there at my shop on Wednesday.
That's very cool.
Yeah, she's got unique stuff. But yeah, so those are the markets. And then of course you can find me online at lowcountrymade.com, Instagram at lowcountrymade, and Facebook. And if you're a local business, I'm always looking to collaborate and to hook you up with brands that represent your store. There's a whole wholesale aspect of Low Country Made that I'm evolving, and that is to help the makers I represent get wholesale ready, and then hook them up with local stores that they local store that they fit with. So yeah, if you're a local store that just wants to figure out how to involve local brands, maybe it's hosting a pop-up or just getting some brands in your shop, I'd love to hear from you. So I think that's it.
Okay. So for me, again, my website is sold out. I'm out for I think for the rest.
That's a good thing. Yay!
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
Usually I'm like, I still have 30 more candles, y'all, but no, I'm out. So there are 4 locations locally that you can purchase candles from. There's 787 by Chazitos. That's on Bull Street, is right next to Boys to Men Barbershop. Then if you go a little further down the street, there's Stump the Plant Shop, which is next to Bull Street Tacos and I think Henny Penny. You can get candles in there along with plants. You can also get a slew of candles at the Ordinary Magic Shop, which is owned by Kelly Boyd, and that's next door to the Savannah Yoga Center. And also the Edition Shop, which was featured on WTOC a couple weeks ago for Black Friday, local shopping. You can get candles from there too. And I actually just got a message from someone at Chazitos that I need to restock. So they'll have newer candles there soon.
Hi, Chazitos. All right. Well, I suggest rewatching this entire talk because the gems are full of local people supporting local people and knowing that your creative journey, and we put out there to do it, to collaborate, to pay yourself, to also make it a goal in 2021 if you're not offering a wholesale option of what you do, to make that, to put your priorities, to know this is what's really, really important. And these are the things that I need to have in my life to be able to do all of the other things. From listening to your body to being able to go, okay, you know what? I can make it through whatever situation comes at me and take all of my talents and allow the hard stuff to propel me forward. I cannot say thank you enough, Katie and Alondia. I'm always a fangirl. So this talk has just blessed me so much as a household made up of local business owners. And we thank you for all of you for supporting each of us. We could not do it, as you heard everyone say here, without you, without your choice to watch, without your choice to sponsor. Shout out to my sponsors, the David Pence Allstate team. They're always doing something good locally. Angela, Tammy, David, reach out to them. Congratulations to David's daughter who just got married last weekend. For an insurance quote, 912-961-9617. Fresh off Joseph, what I love, ladies. So I think it's cool and it's lazy and not cook. And that's where having fresh off the dock seafood's really cool, that all you have to do is pre-order with them at 843-304-2055, and they will bring it to your door. They will cater your holiday party. They will cater your socially distant, whatever you're doing. And they also do a seafood Sunday every single Sunday. So 843-304-2055. Are rolling in, ladies. I know that it's time for us to get logged off. Everybody says thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, rewatch this from the beginning. Please share it with other local creatives. Keep them inspired. Encourage them to charge the full value of their product. As you heard Katie say, do not feel like you have to cut your prices, or please add it to what you're doing. And we're all going through this time together. But as you also heard Katie and Alondia say, websites, use Instagram, get some people on your team who have your vision that can help you in the places that you're weak. All right, y'all, ladies, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We love y'all. We'll be back next week talking to local chef Taylor Washington and eating healthy this season. Katie and Alondia, stand by as we sign off.
Thank you.
And